You found sprouting K, mapping one's chakra systems. Welcome. The subtle shifting of the paradigm to accentuate what flows and what works rather than what does not is the way of it. The body repairs itself by paying attention to the good stuff, the laws of attraction, and we have to continue to appreciate that which adds to our life, the laws of reflection. Easy to say, but what about the painful feedback? How do we handle that? Which brings me to the topic of this video's experience, mapping energy flows. We've already established that the body reflects the patterns it is identified with when it is in balance. In short, we have begun bridging the gap between the outer physical body and the inner energies that influence it. Today, we are going to expand on how to access, while grounded in the body, the finer energy geometrics. The context of the unseen energy flows is called energetic architecture. In reality, it is a network of overlapping interference patterns, which are described in light frequencies as a hologram. In the sound frequencies, the overlapping interference patterns is the physical body, and by and large, its structure is perceivable by using both sides of the brain at the same time. The timeless or holistic side can resonate with the spatial geometric patterns of the space. The analytical side can travel sequentially on the edges of these shapes and outline a path of flow. When the energy is blocked, it is recorded in our bodies, including the physical body. The coordinating aspect in the head is called consciousness. The coordinating aspect in the body is called life. So for today's experience, we are going to place energy centers where the dimensions intersect in geometric forms, and then we will imagine our hand flowing smoothly over the edge of a geometric pattern, tuning to the resistances that clog or halt our flow. In this manner, we can map where in our bodies we sense the clog. If we're flowing along a geometric pattern and it halts, and we see if we have the same clog in our physical body, the correspondence to that center. Actually, we ignore these patterns because they're not really easy to perceive, or we're not trained in perceiving them all the time unless you're clairvoyant, and when we're stuck in the real grounded densities, we can't see them. So what we end up with is pain, and we have to work backwards. But this is how to do that. Exercise 1. Find a rock or a bead made of a rock or crystals that excites you. You're drawn to it. It's drawn to you. Look at, hold, and blend with the resonance of the rock. And this is as much a feeling as anything. Identification, relaxation, balance, and try to pick up the resonance. Allow your body to sound a tone out loud or in your imagination that is in harmony with the love of the rock. The rock really tells you what tone to sound, but it'll come out your mouth if you're holding it in resonance with it. Sound a different tone for the light or a higher frequency if you go beyond light, above light, of the rock. A third tone is now sounded for the overlap, for the will of the rock. That's the grounding into the densities. Next, trace the following etheric triangle in the air in front of your heart space. Tracing the etheric heart space. Start from the head down to the base of spine, go over to the ajna, down to the base of spine. And with me, anyway, when I'm drawing it in the air, go down And then I start at the top again and go over to the ajna, to the throat, to the spleen, to the solar plexus, to the sacral, to the base of spine. And then I go up to the solar plexus, sacral, throat, spleen, up through the heart to the head. With the eyes, you can trace this, and it will also, if you're configured that way, and your guides and your higher will know that, you can trace it with the eyes the same way. And I don't know if you can take in the whole thing in one fell swoop and have it happen. I suspect that you can, but all of us are configured differently. So, tune to the flow to see if it's there, or if there's any resistance in the flow. So you're actually holding the rock in two hands and going around the triangle, and then you go on the inside and you do a halving of each segment that's left. Now, they have a fancy name for that these days. It's called fractal. And that's how fractals are made. And the halving has been around a long time. Feedback comes to me through either sensing flow or resistance to the flow as I set my imagination at the out-breath, pause, with the etheric body as I trace the imagined shape in the air. With me, if I am experiencing pain, I can usually clear the pain in the body by clearing the flow in the imagined geometric shape for the body. If the clog or intrusion is in the etheric, then it'll be, if I'm hurting in the stomach or if I'm hurting in the leg, or it depends on if that is stuck, then I can usually find it with the center that's closest to that and clear that. Now that's just the etheric, because we're a lot more complicated than that. We humans like to make things complicated. And anyway, generally, lack of flow usually occurs in one of the finer bodies before it is sensed in the physical body. So if I start to feel discomfort, such as a pain in the neck, I'll trace the flow in the etheric, and then I'll change my identification to the emotional and go through the neck center, and then do the mental body and go through what's correspondent to the neck, throat center, to see if there's resistance there, what's causing the lack of flow and eventually results in pain in the body. If it is located and cleared, the resistance there before it comes into the physical, then the pain goes away. Your job is first to find out if this energy reality exists for you, clearing the resistance to the flow using a variety of filters. In other words, if you find resistance, or you're going around and say you're coming to the throat center. If I come down and I come to the throat center and oh my gosh, I can't come down.